guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I am Mike.
I am Jay.
And we are...
Shit.
Hey guys, what's going on? Today, we'll be talking about Sinners. Michael B. Jordan's latest hit. And let me tell you something right away. The movie was sinfully good. Sinfully good.
A lot of king.
And it really does. Haley Steinfeld was also in this, and it actually adds a whole different layer to her song, I Didn't Know I Was Starving Until I Tasted You.
You probably know that.
You know that song?
Probably. No, I don't.
By the way,
I like women.
You do things to my body. You know that song.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you would. Anyway, she's hot. Moving on.
No longer a virgin. You know what, though? This movie is going to be a non-spoiler review. We're going to talk about the movie Sinners, Ryan Coogler's new movie. Ryan Coogler directed Black Panther 2, as well as Creed. The first Creed. I thought he directed all of them. He only directed the first Creed.
Oh.
And
a good one.
He directed this. This is the first movie by Ryan Coogler that he didn't have like Marvel or another IP to go after. And he even said that. He was like, this is the first movie I've done where I can make my own original thing and tell my own original story. And it came out like a big old piece of trash. I'm just kidding. It was a great
really good movie.
It was a great movie.
Not so good if you're a cracker. Don't think you should be watching this film. It's not for you.
Jay, tell them how you felt with when someone tried to scoot by you.
Well, this is what happened. I went to the 1:30 showing this afternoon. Pretty mild audience in my particular auditorium. There was a lot of black folk in my auditorium, except for my white Casperas. I think I was the only one. So there was a couple that was near us, my wife and I, and they would excuse themselves to go to the bathroom now and again. And there was a lot of cracker talk going on in this movie. And so the second or third time after they said, excuse me, I said, you don't have to say excuse me ever again. Excuse me. Excuse me. And here's the thing. It's fine because the movie does take place in Mississippi, 1932, during, the really shitty parts of our American history, as it were. I understand the premise of the movie and the cracker talk, but after a while, it does get a little uncomfortable when you're the only Casper motherfucker sitting in a theater full of black folk, and you start feeling a little weird. You're like, I'm sorry? No, I wanted to go out to the auditorium into the lobby after the movie and just shake hands to every black person that was coming out and say, I'm sorry.
I'd like to apologize.
It's a good movie that just has a lot of cracker talk.
Yeah.
Cracker checks.
When you look at Time to Kill, Mississippi Burning, movies like that.
I knew that going in, though.
Right. So it's going to be like, that's going to be a part of the plot. I was surprised at how much of the plot it actually was, though. And it's not because of that I'm going to say this, but the only thing that I was actually kind of bummed out on is that I felt like...
What, there wasn't enough white saviors for you?
Yeah.
There was no Twitter.
Yeah. Of course, one of the whites show up and we're the bad guys every fucking time. No, it was... What it was for me was that once they got into the vampire stuff...
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed them setting up the brothers because they're really cool. Like, they're both so cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like
but they were great, yeah.
Like,
Smoke
cool
and Stack.
Yeah, like, really cool. But, like... Once the movie ended, and by the way, spoiler review will be on Patreon. That link's going to be down below, so no spoilers in this. But, once it got into the vampires finally, because they were trying to tell a lot of stuff. They were trying to tell, like, the story of the times and the racism and the awful stuff that was going on. And it was good. They did it well. Like, everything in this movie.
But they didn't really need to do that because all you had to say was 1932 Mississippi.
We get it.
Like, okay, it's not going to be great.
Yeah. But, like, once it got to the vampire stuff in this movie was some of the best vampire stuff I've ever seen. The way that they fly, the way their eyes turn red, the way they move. Absolutely frightening and haunting. And dude, Coogler, he did an amazing job, not just with the jump scares, but with just the way he made them sinister and scary.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed, man, because I felt like out of like a 2 hour and 17-minute runtime, we got 30 minutes of a horror movie and all the other stuff was the rest.
I agree. I like, that's 100% how I feel. And because the 30 or 40 minutes of the actual film that's revolving around vampires is really well done. Really cool. And it's definitely one of my favorite vampire movies I've seen in a while. But everything else before that, it was fine. It was cool. I understand you have to create some backstory. You have to create the relationships, and that makes sense. But they spent so fucking long on it. Too long in a lot of ways. And even aside from the Cracker Jack talk, that was quite You don't like white people. I get it. There was quite a lot of it, but I get it. When I went in to see this film, I was expecting a lot of action horror, a lot from the get-go. A lot of people have compared this movie to something like Dusk Till Dawn, and it does have Dusk Till Dawn vibes, but Dusk Till Dawn is still a superior film in all the right ways because it is right away gets you into the action. They give you a backstory. Robert Rodriguez did a really good job of giving you a backstory, but not sacrificing the overall plot or action of the horror part of the movie. They get you right into the titty twister, and you're going to have a good time. This one says, well, you got to meet my brother Smoke and Stack. You got to find out they're from Chicago, which is really just plantation with tall buildings. In 1932, they got to come down there, got to find Slim, you got to find Sammy, you got to find this, you got to do this, then you got to
catch them all.
You got the Ku Klux Klan member that's going to backstab you later on. You got to buy that building from him.
And you knew it.
And we go tell you and your cracker friends, you come back, you cross that line, you're dead. We got to make sure.
Because he's white. And you knew he was going to come back as a bad guy because he's white.
I just feel like a lot of it was filler, and I think you could have cut out at least 20 or 25 minutes of a lot of it and been fine.
And so I'll say yes, but no also because like it was all so well filmed and well done. There wasn't a second
looked good.
You weren't interested, but I just wish that they would have taken that 20 or 30 minutes and put it back into the back end of the movie, because by the time shit hits the fan, you can sense. It's the only flaw I'll give this movie, because it's almost a perfect movie. Like, it's great. But really, like, one of the only flaws I'll give the movie is that when the shit hits the fan, everything gets rushed. Like, real fast. It's like all of a sudden we went from, hey, there are vampires here, to holy shit, let's do the party now. Let's do the Dusk Till Dawn second half of the movie, and it felt a little bit rushed to me.
Well, and I will say, it did feel a little bit more rushed upon toward the end. They're like, holy shit, we got to make this movie. We would have such a good time world building. Now we actually have to make the vampire stuff, but. Let me say, the practical effects on the vampires themselves are amazing. They're really well done, and even some of the... It's not as gory as I thought it was going to be. There are some gore parts to it, but it's very light Diet Coke versions of gore.
There's not a lot of gore.
Yeah, it's actually done pretty well. Like, I'm not... I think you take like a 14, 15-year-old kid to see this, if it was like their first... Oh, well, there's some... I just want to see how you taste.
You put your tongue in my coot. Remember that one? Remember that one?
You know what? That could be... that could be...
I'm not just talking to Jay about our activities.
No, some people could consider that safe sex and cleanliness, because it's like, hey, she says I walked here, and he's like, I just won't taste you. And you're like, well, that's gross.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way,
that's nasty.
Don't lick the sweaty.
Hey, I just got done with Tybo. You want to lick my cooch?
Oh, jeez.
No thanks.
But no, on purpose. Like, I take my 15-year-old daughter to see almost all horror movies. When it comes to horror, whatever. Like, people judge me, whatever. Go fuck yourself. How's your mother? Good. She's tired of fucking my father. I don't care. But
so it's healthy
when it comes to like the over-sexualized stuff, I heard some stuff about this movie, so I was like, all right, better precautionally. That's a word. Fuck you. See it first, and there's a lot of sex stuff.
Yeah,
it's a sexy movie.
That's true, but that you can do like earmuffs and fucking eye screen.
But it's also just awkward. People look at you like
that is true.
With your daughter watching these two people fuck on screen.
There's only 2 of those moments, and they're not even that. I mean, there's
a lot of verbiage though.
I've seen a lot worse.
But there's a lot of verbiage.
That's true.
But
I was going to say, my point being is that they don't rely on a shit ton of gore to tell the story with the vampires, and I think that's respectful because it still gets the point across. Yeah. And the way the vampires look in this movie, I'll be honest, I think they're the best looking vampires I've seen on screen in quite a while. I think that the 30 Days of Night, that kind of remind me of 30 Days of Night. They look the best. I think the vampires in 30 Days of Night with Josh Hartnett were fucking awesome, and they were scary and they were visceral looking. Then I think I would put this movie's version of them, and then it would be Dusk Till Dawn, because they look like alien creatures with big boobs.
Yeah, no, like literally the actual vampire stuff, and I'm talking about the way they move, dude. It's haunting. Like when you see the vampires move and put on their moon shoes, like holy shit, like that got me. And there's something about the simplicity of the red eyes, which is in the trailer, that really got me.
The
really
cheap
good.
Effect too,
and. The vampire stuff is absolute top notch. And again, I'll just say it one more time. I feel like had this movie been more focused on the second half and the vampire stuff, it could have been the greatest vampire movie that has ever fucking been made. Like Ryan Coogler and the special effects and the cinematography and the way everything looks, the way it's directed, it is some of the best vampire shit in the history of vampire shit. That's no joke.
I don't want to be a cracker and speak out of place, but I will say this. I will say that if you'd focused a little bit more on building they did a good job with Smoke and Stack, and I get where they were from, and then you just focused a little bit more on the vampire stuff, and you could have kept in, but just shortened it down, them recruiting Sammy and getting all the bands together and then opening you could have done that really quickly. And Ryan Coogler he's not like a shitty director. He knows how to do that. You cut out like 25 minutes of just boring shit that we really don't need, and then you get right into the action. You pace it a little bit faster, and I think you got a perfect movie.
A lot of that stuff felt like, though, even the lead up, and again, don't get us wrong, like, I would have preferred more of the second half of the movie. However, the first half of the movie, you know what it felt kind of like to me? It felt like an alternate version of Red Dead Redemption.
First half
of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Because like, Smoke and Stack, the two leads.
Smokestack.
That Michael B. Jordan plays. I like the funnier version better, but it reminded me of Double Impact, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Their dynamic was great. The brother, like the relationship between them was really great, really well set up.
And it's believable. And by the way, when they're on screen together, they do a great job
I forgot.
them looking like independent actors or characters.
And that's on Michael B. Jordan. Dude.
Yeah,
great acting.
Good, yeah.
But like,
do you think he got paid double?
I hope so. It was on one hand, it was kind of like watching Dusk Till Dawn when George Clooney was just so fucking cool the way he went about his business.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's a mob aspect to it that's pretty fucking cool. And on the other hand, I felt like Red Dead Redemption a little bit. Like when he's walking through town, you have to deal with people trying to steal your shit. You have to deal with the Watts. You have to deal with all this shit, and that was cool. It was a really good movie. It was just a different movie than the second half of the movie, which just is a personal taste. I think everything in this movie is done top notch. Absolute A+ fucking movie. My personal taste is that I would have liked to have seen more of the last 45 minutes of the movie throughout.
I think they had a good idea, and they executed it pretty well. I feel like the pacing was pretty. For the most part, the pacing was good, and then there were, I think, some drop-offs that kind of took me out of it, and I'm like, all right, let's get it there, Junior. And then also, I will say one thing. I think Michael B. Jordan is a stellar actor. I think he did a great job with the role, but it wasn't just him, but he was trying to do the Mississippian accent, and sometimes it just didn't. It don't work. I felt like he was doing mumbling shit, and I think he was trying really hard to get that, like that genuine Southern accent drawl, and sometimes I couldn't understand him sometimes. I was like, I'm from the South, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Like,
how about like the humble naked?
They'll be like, well, I'm there and fuck my wife. I'm like, what? But no, overall, the movie is still a stellar vampire film, and I think the biggest sin against this movie, being sinners, is that they showed the best parts of the goddamn movie in the trailers, which is a sin a lot of films make nowadays. So I'm gonna give the movie an 8.0.
Yeah, dude, and by the way, my standout performance, Michael B. Jordan was great. My standout performance was absolutely Mr. Delroy he was in Ransom back in the day, and he was the drunkard character, if you don't remember. But dude, he was in Ransom, he was in Gone in 60 Seconds. Yeah. He was in Broken Arrow. The guy is super underrated, but he usually plays the straight man, like the super serious guy that like explains everything, or the straight man detective. Here, he got to play this drunk kind of fuck up. There's one point where he's like, I think I shit my pants. It's like, dude, he stole the show. Best actor in the movie, in my opinion. The bad guys, dude, like, so that
guy was great. The Irish, the main vampire.
Like, he was really good. I think that's more on Coogler than him, because the way they had him look and the eyes and shit was super good. There is 2 points in this movie that I want to talk about that is not going to be well received by anyone, because everyone else fucking loves it. I did not.
What?
2 musical moments in the movie happen. One is sort of like, we're in the middle of this, and you can tell shit's about to go down. It's Dusk Till Dawn when they're entering the strip club, right? Selma Hayek's dancing, the sinning is flowing, and you feel like we're about to get into it, and then they stop and they do this kind of history of music situation, and it's a great shot and it's filmed amazingly. I just thought it was kind of fucking silly, and by the way, I've looked at everybody else's reactions, and they're like, that scene made me cry. That was the best scene in the movie. I'm going to have a minority opinion on this for sure. I thought that was really corny.
It was weird.
That's just my own, and I know.
It was.
I thought it was corny.
I didn't think it was bad. I just thought it was weird, because I thought this was a vampire movie, and then they throw some X-Men power shit in there.
I thought,
like, what the fuck is going on?
And I just thought it sucked the tension out of the movie for a second, and I thought it felt self-indulgent. Like, and I would say that about any director that did it. I thought it felt a little self-indulgent and derivative from what was going on in the movie. That being said,
you know it's a hot one, like 7 inches from the midday.
You know.
You know what?
More ass than Mark McGrath.
That scene felt like a Santana music video.
It did, no, 100%. But I will say this. That being said, the music is so good in this movie, dude. The blues that go throughout the music,
good.
Even when, like when you said, when the plot drops off a little bit. And
you mean the jazz music,
the blues, more specifically.
Oh, the blues, yeah.
The blues that's going on throughout the movie is so good, dude. The soundtrack is constantly fucking awesome, and like I felt it the entire time. It was so fucking good. and I really enjoyed that shit. And again, it's just the ending felt rushed, and then there's a post ending, and I actually dug that. And without giving anything away, I'll just say it felt kind of like a Rambo situation. It felt, you get into this Rambo situation, and I was like, this is kind of badass. Like what they're doing there is pretty fucking cool. And also, yeah, I fucking hate the KKK too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, let's go. But like, it was all done so well. I'm an 8.5. I'm just barely above you. I think we're both going to get shit, to be honest with you, because everybody...
You can check my goddamn closet for towels and hoods. Ain't none in there. Ain't none in there. I'm just giving my goddamn
You sound
opinion.
like Walton Goggins in... I know you haven't seen it, but you sound like Walton Goggins in Vice Principals. He's
right.
like, God damn it, Neil Gamby.
Ain't none in there. Check my goddamn closets if you want. Ain't gonna find no sheets except what I put on my bedspread.
But, again... The vampire shit that is in the movie is a fucking 10 out of 10. Would you agree with that? Like, the vampire shit's a 10 out of 10.
The vampire, yeah, absolutely. And I think if you shorten the movie down a little bit, you help the pacing of the film, I think you get a perfect movie. I really do. I would have put this on par with Dusk Till Dawn, if not for... I feel like the pacing is the biggest detriment to this film. I think the pacing is really what derails it. It's an 8.0, 8.5 for Mike.
Spoiler
there you
review.
go.
Top of the link, we're going to talk about all that stuff that we just talked about in detail, so make sure you check that out on our Patreon. We love your fucking faces. More videos to come. Make sure you're subscribed. You fucking crackers.
Bunch of goddamn crackers hitting the dislike button around here, I think.
Let off some steam, Bennett.
What are you going to do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you wanna know about the darkness?
I said, God damn.
God damn you, faggot!
Ooh, I said, God damn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, God